Highway 301 coming out of Tampa towards kind of the town of, I guess, Crystal Springs, on past Zephyr Hills. And I'm going to the, I'm going to try to find the source of the Hillsborough River. And a lot of people, myself included, if you ask them the source of the Hillsborough River, they'll say, well, it's at Crystal Spring, because it appears to be, because there's this pretty good size, really high volume, beautiful spring, crystal clear water spring that is near the source. It's actually on private property. It's a little spur that feeds into the river, and once you get past that, the river turns into almost a creek. But it still can produce a substantial flow, and beyond that several miles, it kind of meanders into the southwest corner of what's called the Green Swamp inside the Withlacoochee I don't know, state forest or what have you. I'm not really not sure who's his jurisdiction, but it's a giant swath of protected land in the Green Swamp. Well, the thing is, when you go to maps and whatever, Google Earth or different maps, they'll show little creek, call it Hillsborough River, but right next to it they'll show the Withlacoochee River, and the Withlacoochee River is a giant of a river that goes to the northwest. I'm sorry. I forget what town. I think up around Crystal Springs. I mean, not Crystal Springs. Up around Homosassa Springs and that area. I'm almost a week watching, really. I'm not sure where, but it ends up in the the Gulf of Mexico, just like the Hillsborough River ends up in the Gulf of Mexico by way of Tampa Bay. But there's no clear divide. They just kind of say all. It's kind of originate. This guy lives under this bridge. He's here all the time under this bridge. But they just kind of originate in the same old swampy area. When you look at them on maps and Google Earth, it's just this giant mass of, looks like looking at a kind of a head of broccoli. It's just green clumps, and one turns into Hillsborough River and one turns into the Withlacoochee River. So I'm going to go on the Hillsborough side and just try to get up in there, just see what forms the divide. Something does. Something sends the Hillsborough River south and the Withlacoochee River north. So maybe it'll be a kind of dry. We had some rain, kind of dry period before it gets real rainy in Florida. It's May 2022, and gas is $4.45 a gallon. I hope that doesn't last too long. But so I'm going to try to get up in there. There's no way to get into this part of the river. It's just so swampy for so long. There's no boat ramps or anything like that. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to go to this one bridge I found on Google Earth and just probably throw my kayak over and then jump in. Just get my dry bag full of everything, and then jump on over and just catch as catch can to get everything situated somewhere, find some dry land or something, just get it situated. It's not that much, it's not that hard. But so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll get up in there and see how far I can get and how difficult it is. It looks pretty thick, but I can find some open patches where I can kind of see water. You can kind of see where the channel is for a little ways, especially close to the bridge. But then you can't tell what's going on. But I haven't set any kind of GPS points or anything like that, but I'll get in there and look around first. And I may not make it the first attempt, but there's a little bit of a camp, a little bit of a road back in there, and I've actually been there by hiking. I can't remember what it's called right now, frankly, but if I get that far, I know I've done it because I know that's the Withlacoochee River. It's marked and it's well delineated. But so anyhow, so I'll just take you with me, and we'll see how it goes. All right, talk to you later. So is. That's the mighty Hillsborough River. We're several miles upstream of Crystal Springs right now, and that's why people would say that Crystal Springs is the source, because it does contribute quite a bit year round, whereas this is a dry season, so you're not going to get as much runoff out of the green swamp. But a couple miles upstream is the source. I don't know how far I'll be able to get in that, but I'll give it a whirl and just see what happens to it. All right, we'll see how to get in it now. You can't, jumping's out of the question. Land on, so we just have to crawl my way back in there somehow. See how it goes. Well, I see. Oh man, there's some turkey. There's some turkey back there. Also, there's some water there too. Well, I left the car running. I just pulled off the side and left it running with the hazards on while I checked things out, and then got down in here and going further and further, but I can still hear the road real well. But there's some big cypress in here, and all you're doing is just seeing some low spots. It's not really a river right now. It's just not flowing. It's middle of May. And there's just not enough in here, but that, if you go downstream, there's, you know, the hills are really flowing full. People on jet skis go far enough down. So that's this break is right in here somewhere. If I travel about 1.5 miles maybe north, which I probably will, I'm gonna lock things up. I'll find, you know, it'll be dry ground, and then I'll hit another swamp area like this, and that'll be the width of Coochie. But I'm gonna go grab like I'll carry my dry bag and some stuff with me, and I'll just do it on foot. That's what I'm gonna do. Stash the kayak down here and then go. So we'll just see how it goes. It's really pretty in here though. I got the kayak stashed behind that bunch of stumps right there. You can't see it from the road. And I've just taken everything out of it besides the paddle. But I haven't really packed for weight. You know, because with kayak, I'm not that concerned with weight. Like my water is in a steel, kind of a big 50-ounce steel Yeti jar. That's heavy. So I don't have that far to go. I'm probably maybe 1.5 miles, 2 miles. But I'm just going to follow this creek bed. I'll mark a little bit of flagging on some of the cypress. It just makes it easier than looking at your GPS all the time. But I'm definitely going with the GPS as well. It's just stupid not to. So many things happen. Especially sometimes I'll be on the trail, but I'll go look for something like I did that survey marker over there. And then you think, well, you just head back to the trail. But things just get a little funky then. So I just go along within sight of each one, you know, 50, 75 yards or so out here. Just set a little flag, and then I pick it up when I leave. So yeah, we'll just go and see what happens really. I've got some, I'm wearing some of these, they're Crocs, but they strap around the ankles so you can pull them up out of the mud, because you know, it's gonna be muddy in some places worse than others, worse than others. But so I'm just gonna lug this big old bag. I might even get back there and stash it, but maybe even eat a little lunch and drink some of that Gatorade I got, and then stash it and go. I mean, I got batteries, all kinds of stuff I didn't care too much about. I don't care about 10 pounds or 8 pounds when I'm kayaking. 10 pounds hiking is substantial. So, all right, well, here we go. We'll just see how it goes. I'm gonna leave this out with me. So as I'm going along, I'll check back and find my last flag, and I can see it back there. It's good high one, well overhead high. And when you're putting that out, I just do a little like a lark's loop, or whatever they call it, just a little, just pass it through it's folded middle. And I like to leave, get it high so you can see it from whether you're low ground or what have you, as high as you can. And I like to leave a good 1.5 foot or so tail on it, just so it kind of moves in the breeze. As the light changes, that even though it's fluorescent orange, it may not be all that detectable, but that movement is. Your eye will go to that movement. So I leave a little tail on it, good long tail, let it move in the breeze. That's helped me a couple times. So, all right, time to set another one out. So here we go. Just like being in a kayak, you get to where you're not quite sure where the stream bed is. There's all sorts of little oxbows and tributaries and low spots all through here. And one thing I learned is just look for the biggest cypress you can find. And the big boys, they tend to be, they don't tend to be, they just are. That's the stream bed. That's the most permanent pool, and that's how they got so big. But you can easily get out to a field of cypress of good size, but not the grands, not the great big ones. It's just not all that easy to see where that stream bed is. One of the most obvious things actually is once you kind of look past the surface is the debris field. The stream bed leaves debris, and once you even start looking for it, it does become obvious. But at first you don't think that much about it. You're stepping over stuff, but the stream bed holds the big piles of debris and the great big cypress trunks. All right, check in with you later. I barely moved about 50 yards. You can see that flag, how it's moving? I put it up high. That's what it takes. If I put that waist high or chest high, I wouldn't see it. I don't think I might be 50 or 60 yards. So I'm about to set another one. You just keep leapfrogging like that. Keep looking back for your last one. All right, here we go. I set out quite a few flagons, but kind of getting to a more defined stream right now. So if I can see a good 100 yards, no, not 100, but I can see a bigger way. So we can make some time. I'll check in with you later. So now I'm coming up on somebody else's. This is a pink and white. So there's been either a scientist, or definitely scientists. I can't tell if that's ATD 12 or ADP/2. We'll find out when we start finding some more, because I can see this stream bed is flagged. But it's really pretty in here, man. And again, you just follow those big cypress. You might look off and see a great big one, because they do. This maybe survived logging or something like that. But when you see rows of 4 or 5, 6 of them, that's the permanent. When I say permanent pool, I'm walking through mud now. And when you get to one of those little sinks where it's holding water, there's wildlife all around it. They scatter. I'm so loud, but there's all kinds of deer, prints, all lover, raccoon, turkey, all in the same spot. They all come to the same. See, there's a water hole over there, so I'm gonna be quiet. See, it's hard to be quiet. There's just broken, dead branches all over the forest floor. But man, there's a big tree over here. I'm gonna go over to it, and this is what happens. I get off the path and go check something out, and then that path ain't as obvious. Come back, so I'm gonna flag this couple trees. I'm gonna go look at that giant cypress tree over there. It's probably, I don't know, 6, 7 foot in diameter. I lucked out here because I see now that the stream I was following makes a big, probably some old oxbow, big loop around, and then comes right back here, and I can see these just big old trees. And this thing is just a monster. It just survived lightning strikes. It survived when they came through here logging like crazy. I don't know how old it is, but take a look at this tree, what's left of it. I don't see anything living off of it. I think it's just a giant shell, but it's big. It's actually being supported by other trees, probably its offspring, but I'm gonna walk around It's all hollowed out. It's pretty big. It's getting kind of crazy in here again. They're getting kind of hard to spot. So what I'll do is, as I said, I'll set the knot on the back side, so if I'm facing the knot, I'll look and it'll direct me to my next flag. So you have to get a little more careful, because I got to where I set out a flag and I could not find the last one. I knew it was time to set one, but I couldn't find it, and it took me a while to find it and then pick a place where I could see. You know, you want to be able to see both of them, the one you're at and the one you're going. So this knot tells me to look, you know, that direction. But it seems easy when you're on your couch, but man, out here it gets crazy. I stepped away to look at that big tree and I couldn't find the flag for 10-15 minutes. So I just had to set this one high because I'm up and down in elevation, and it's hard to use the knot when it's up high like that. So I'll set a little second sight, like a little front sight, and then you can line them up and and see. And just for reference, look how this scientist marked his climbing up. That's how tough it is to see back in here. And I'm sure he's got every bit of GPS and all that, but it's hard to follow that GPS. You know, you got to be pretty good ways off track for it to show up on that little gray line. But anyhow, this way you just march your way on out. All right, check it out. Just look at this massive debris field here. These just big, giant trees. And this is normally where I'd be crossing when this thing's full of water. I'd be, crawling over them or crawling under them or whatever. But that's, the river undermining that root ball, and a lot of its age. Look at this giant stump over here. Just a massive thing. All right, we'll keep on going. That's probably gone. I've probably gone about a mile now, and really hard to say, but I haven't really seen a change in topography. You get these giant debris fields, and there's only one way for this amount of wood to gather, and that's the stream bed. But other than that, it's certainly not obvious. So it's getting to that area where it just gets real nebulous about what river you're in. Now I think what'll happen is I'll probably run out of what would be called riverbed, and I'll probably run into maybe broadside, a more pronounced river, and that will be the Withlacoochee, because I think the Withlacoochee continues on to the east pretty good ways, and is more defined at this supposed junction. But yeah, there's just all kinds of little bogs and oxbows, and see the last flag there. So I see two of them. That's good. So I'm gonna have to set one here pretty quick. But I gotta find a place to eat lunch and change my GoPro battery. I'm gonna look for a little bit of high ground. There's some high ground in here. Okay, check in with you later. I tied this one on really gingerly because someone definitely uses that. I don't see any like claw marks or anything like that, but it could be like a wood duck or something. I'm really not sure. There's people that know though. God bless them. I think that's off a red-shouldered hawk. I found a little feather on the ground. Somebody knows. Come into a really pretty well-defined riverbed now, and there's a little bit of a problem because animals like water, and gators like water, and there's enough water in that for a really good-sized gator to kind of hunker down and soak in. Which they'll do. If they get in water, they'll get in water versus staying out, depending on the body temperature. But it's warm, and the water's kind of cool. So they're going to take turns in the water. And yeah, I don't want to walk up on a great big one like that. And that's an easy way to walk up on a great big one, where they're forced into the narrow corridor that you're in. And it's fight or flight, but even a flight of one of those coming over you, an 8-footer coming over, you're gonna get hurt. And I think it has a lot to do, a lot of similarities with like bear, where a female will kill you, incapacitate you somehow to protect her cubs. But maybe you'll survive. Whereas a male is just hungry. I don't think he sees you as a threat to his, he's not going to view you as a threat to his territory as much as just hungry. And to a, to an 8, 9, 10 footer, he might think he could eat something my size. He might try. So yeah, I ain't doing something stupid, but man, sometimes you got no choice right here. See it? I'm just at a gross disadvantage. I'm up to my shins in silt, a lot of trip hazards all through here. And there's only so much water around for all of us. And I don't need it, so I just stay out of it. Just check my flag now. I have to find that one. Well, I'm kind of right on that line between fun and foolish. So I'm gonna head back. God, it stinks bad in here, like dead fish. Something's changing, but I got it marked. My first time out. Nothing keeping me from doing it again. But I got that kayak kind of stashed back there, and it's heavy. It's heavy. But so I'm just gonna eat some lunch and head back while I'm pretty sure I know I can get back by daylight. It's mid-spring now, and I got pretty long days. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of cut my losses and mark my progress, and then head on back. It took me I think two hours to go. Yeah, 2 miles. I'm all just short of 2 miles. And it took me 2 hours. But I was time flagging and stuff like that. I might even leave this flagging out and try to come back before the rains hit. Because I'll make this 2 miles real quick, and I don't think it's far. And it'll be interesting when I'll mark it on my GPS and upload it to Google Earth. And the Zephyr Hills Airport operates in this area. There's a lot of sky jumping and stuff. There's a plane overhead now, but I'll leave these out here for now, and then I'll mark it on that GPS and transfer it to Google Earth, and I'll probably kick myself out close. But that's just part of it. I'm just getting to where it's getting late. It's just not the kind of place you'd want to get injured or something like that. As you get more and more fatigued, your chances increase. So yeah, I'm just gonna eat some lunch, and I'll check in with you later. One thing I learned to do, if you got one of these, I think this is a Joby. But you see that little 1/4 inch by 20 pitch screw hole? I just take a little piece of it, doesn't touch me much, just a little piece of electrical tape and put it over that, because I dropped it one time, and even though I used a cork, it's had the GoPro in, and it kind of held its own, but you could see bubbles shooting out of that thing. Yeah, I was in real clear water, but the bubbles were coming out of there like crazy, and after a few seconds, it took off like a rocket to the bottom. So it was clear, but it was deep. I'd go get it, but now I just put that little piece of tape over that. It'll trap that air inside, because it'll sit up like this, and it still won't float, but it kind of gets neutral with this little buoy there, and you got plenty of time to get it. Hopefully get it with your paddle or something, but even if you have to go in and get it, it'll be upright. All right. Sounds like some thunder, some weather moving in. So yeah, it's kind of nice seeing this flag and where you can spot 2 or 3 of them at a time. It seems excessive, but man, because it doesn't really have to get dark. It just, once that sun goes behind the trees, it's pretty bright still, but once it goes behind those trees, everything just looks different. I mean, everything just looks different. And that, even that orange flag, and it's, you can miss it. That's a deep hole there. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up for now because I'll be back, and that'll just help me go a lot quicker. Because I carry a GPS and I do use it, but it's not that simple to refer to it over and over again. You got to zoom in and zoom out and kill the battery the size of that cypress, the remnant of what's there. Now that one, that very well could have been logged because it's a pretty straight cut at the top. So here we go. I see a flag down a good ways away. I tell you, that little knot discipline has really helped me out here a couple times. It's just, everything looks the same. And when you get that knot out there and then aim it and find that next flag. I don't know if you can see it back there, but man, I was looking at that thing for a long time, and that knot is what put me on it. And that's the trick, is just once you tie it, you look past your tie here to where the last one you left, and just pull that thing tight that direction. It'll put you on it. And even with that, it took me a minute to find it. There it is. It's amazing how long it takes to get between these little short flagging. But so this is a good example. Look at this here. It tells you you're going to take a sharp turn and see how it does. So there's that knot, and you line up that knot, and there's 2, and that's a good feeling right now, because I tell you, it's even between them, it's not a straight shot. So I get to where I can make a little distance and look for that last one, and then get a good spot to tie it. It doesn't mean you can go A to B exactly. These kind of were, but man, look at that thunder. Whew. That's big. That knot was a big help there. There's a big debris field, man. Once you even, I mean, total less than 4 miles. You tote some weight, man. It's all you think about is weight. You can see why backpackers will spend so much money on really lightweight stuff. You know, I know I do. God, it's just all you can think about is what can I get rid of. I didn't expect to be hiking. That's another thing too. If I come out next time, I'll be set up for hiking. I'll have no weight on me. I'll filter water and everything else. You know, just for instance, I eat a quarter of that peanut butter sandwich. I didn't need to bring a whole sandwich. I wouldn't even do that backpacking. I just bring some trail mix I make. It's not far. It's not a long distance. It's the weight. I tell you, I did a good job of these flags, because every time I get real befuddled, I look and there it is. So that's good, because it's a mess out here. And I know I'm making a lot better time heading back, so that's good. All right, check in with you later. All right, so I made it back to the big tree now, so that seemed to be about halfway, it seemed like. Because I remember I thought about taking a break there, but you know, I don't want to jinx myself, but I haven't seen a snake of any kind yet. All I've really seen is squirrels and a raccoon and some turkey. Early on, I saw the turkey early on, but I'm so loud chomping through here. But all right, I'll check in later. This thing I'm standing on is so odd. Look at the outside of that bark over there, and then it comes into this flat, almost like a hewn bridge with a tree stump. I can't tell if it's integral or just a budding. And again, I can't tell if it's integral or just a budding. It almost looks like a root system coming out here, formed it. I don't know, it just got lodged in there. I don't know how it got flat, just the river and debris flowing over it, but It's just flat as can be, almost like a bridge. There's some sort of wading bird over there, some kind of crane, a couple of them, egrets. Yeah, I think that's a small heron, I think. They got that spear-like beak. All right, I'm getting where I can hear the highway now. And I think I see one of those scientist markings. I didn't see any of those in the deep stuff. So they were all perfect. This is something the hogs will do here. Root that stuff up. I don't know what they're after. All right. Okay, there's the road. I can actually see it now. Hear it real good. But it took me a little more than half the time it took me getting back. I got out there in about 2 hours. It took about an hour and 15 minutes to get back. I got this kayak up that embankment. That might take a couple trips, but I do see it. I got my paddle there with it, so that's all good. Okay, I'll check in with you later. And the best news is I can take that pack off and just drag it with the kayak. I've got to watch, man. See how it dumps everything in. I've got everything tied down now. There we go. Well, I just kind of threw everything together and threw that kayak on top. It just wasn't a very hospitable place to clean up and all. So I'm going to go up and find me a shady little spot that I can get everything organized. But that was on US 98, where it crosses the Hillsborough River. I just pulled up to some kind of Lutheran church. I'm in the town of Zephyr Hills. The road's kind of busy behind me because the main road that bypasses the city, the one that I was on, is closed. So they're detouring everybody down this little neighborhood here. But I was just gonna stop here. That place I was at is on a big slope and red ants everywhere. Just what this is just a washcloth with some biodegradable soap that I put in it, and I'll just scrub down afterwards, just kind of preemptively, just for ticks and maybe besides the filthy. But this is just water with some of that, what is it, Dr. Bonner or whatever, a few drops of soap in it. I'd use it mountain biking, surfing, everything. But just scrub down, you know. Gets everything. It'd be nice to have a shower, but I ain't got one. So I just kind of scrub down. These things are just about disposable. These wash racks. Get a big pack of them. Cut my toe pretty bad. Yeah, and it's just good for poison ivy. You get that Buterol or whatever that stuff is. Buterol. I mean, you gotta scrub it off. It doesn't wash off. You gotta rub it like grease, because it is. It's like a grease that comes off that every bit of that poison ivy, whether it's the stem or the leaves, I don't know, but man, it's just unbelievable how that stuff gets on you. But that's real filthy stuff there. Wash down the head. Oh. Well, I'm just going to take a little break here, maybe figure out how to change my clothes without getting arrested. Maybe just my shirt. But yeah, that was kind of a hell of a trip, man. But it'd be interesting in the kayak and tough. So much snag and crossing. And in my mind, I'm thinking, golly, if this had 2, 3, 4 feet of water, and it'd be so hard because you'd be right up in all those snags. Well, that's why they're there. They tend to fall bank, you know, bank to bank, and sit there right at the water level, and ain't no easy way of getting around them. I think it might have been easier. It might have been easier walking, but I don't know. Sometimes a kayak you can go 200-300 yards, not hit nothing, just cruising. But then when you get to something, it's tough. I don't know. Either way. So that's a nice little trip. I might come in. I can't remember near that camp. There's a camp. There's a camp off of some kind of Boy Scout loop trail or Florida trail. It's not Florida trail, but one of those state trails. And there's a camp up there. Maybe go in that way, maybe even camp, and then come in from the north side. That's how I first crossed 17 runs. I'd pick a way at it from each end. And, finally, you know, I'd get from one mark that I'd made and then catch it from the other direction. That was it's kind of a good feeling. Then you can go straight through and bring people through if they want to go. But kind of cut up, not too bad considering. But anyhow, so yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the source of the Hillsborough River. That green swamp stages up, floods up, and then sends it. But I could go to the other side of the spring right now, and there'd be, you know, plenty of water, beautiful fish everywhere. And that's why people call the spring there the source, because for part of the year it is the source. I mean, it turns into a dried up lake bed. I mean, dried up creek bed after that. But anyhow, all right. Well, that was kind of cool actually. So I'll go back at it again, and I'll take you with me. All right. Take care. Talk to you later.